you see this massive display of flowers? Can you see how big it is? It is massively huge. Well, it was a week. A week that was a real challenge. And so my husband James is an amazing man, and he loves to send me flowers for no reason other than he thinks I need to brighten up my day. And believe me, this week I needed a brightening of my attitude, my day, my week. Definitely needed it. Just as I'm trying to film this, I almost just knocked off my tripod, which is setting up so high so I can get those flowers in. I think I'm going to change camera angles and start my reflection. So what happened this week that made my world so stressful? Well, a couple of things. So late last week, I received a phone call from my mom's nursing home. My mom she just turned 70, and I placed her in a nursing home about 5 years ago. When I did that, it was a very difficult decision to do, but in hindsight, it was the right decision. She needed more care than I could give her. And since then, 2 years ago, the nursing home that I placed her in that was by me went through a closure. And so the fall before last, we had to move her around Thanksgiving, Christmas time into a new facility, and that was very difficult for her and a difficult transition. It was still close to me though, so that's a great thing. Over this past year with COVID, I haven't been able to visit with my mom hardly at all in person. I did get her a cell phone, and so she has been well enough to be able to understand how to answer a FaceTime phone call, and so that's been a blessing over this past year of COVID. And I've been able to see her a few times over the holidays, last Thanksgiving and Christmas, for very short periods of time. However, we did get to see her in person then. I received a phone call late last week that the facility that she's in by me is also going through a closure, and all of a sudden I found myself over the end of last week and last weekend and then into this week trying to find her a facility that I felt was suitable and coordinate a move with a nursing home with my mom. And that's not an easy thing to do because any change for my mom really affects her greatly, and she liked the facility that she was in a whole bunch. So I found a new place for her, and then a couple nights ago they started the move process, and as of today she is in a new facility. However, she has to isolate for 14 days before she can do anything, even though she's already had COVID and she's already had both her vaccines. It's just their standard procedure. But the difference with the move this time is that I haven't been able to go into the facility because of the restrictions and help with the unpacking of her things and placement of her items, and I'm not there for her, and she feels pretty abandoned. Anyway, that's way a lot for my vlog, video log, but it's made the week really hard. On top of that, late last week, actually on Friday, Friday about 2 o'clock, they announced to our teachers and our community and our students, and all at once they announced that we're coming back to school in person 5 days a week starting March 22nd, and we have been in a hybrid mode, and we're kind of got our routines down, and our class sizes are have been really small, so that we've been able to socially distance. And now with this news, it feels like we're starting school over again with large class sizes, and everyone's coming back to school. Most teachers haven't received any vaccine yet, and so everyone's very upset at school, and it's hard because it's hard for me because I want to make people happy. I like to do that, and I haven't been able to make hardly anybody happy the past week and a half, 2 weeks, with my job at school and teachers and my mom. So it's been tough. But that's enough of that. Last weekend I still did my meal planning and meal prep, and I'm glad I did that. I've stayed in control of my eating. I've stayed in control of my exercise habits. So much is out of my control, but I know I can control what goes in my mouth and what I do with my body. And so I've really tried to focus on that, which is a good thing. And I'm going to go over I'm going to show you, I'm going to insert a few clips here of my meal prep that I did last weekend to get ready for this week. So I'm glad I did that. So I decided to do a little meal planning for my breakfast/lunch at work this week. So this is the center cut bacon that I used by Farmland. That's only 2 points for 2 slices of bacon. And then the Velveeta slices are 1 point. And then I used the 100-calorie English muffins. They were out of those, but on mine I used the whole wheat ones that are 100 calories, and they're 3 points each. So for 5 points, I get a great breakfast. And I said that wrong on that center cut bacon. That's actually 2 slices for 1 point. So that's how I get 5 points. So 3 for the muffin with the 100-calorie ones, 1 for the Velveeta, and 1 for the center cut bacon. So 5 altogether. If you use these regular Thomas English muffins, you have to add 1 more point, so they'd be 6. So I'm whipping up my breakfast this morning, and I went ahead and made one for myself today, and then I've got another one for tomorrow that will be 5 points, and then the next day 5 points. And I decided I'd go ahead and use up my bacon and make my husband some too, so he'll be getting. I'm working on another meal prep for breakfast/lunch for James and I for the week. So I'm going to be making, for me, some chocolate chip peanut butter overnight oats. James hates peanut butter, so he will get the vanilla kind. For his, I use a 1/2 cup of the oats, 1 teaspoon of that brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of that Jello sugar-free mix, and a 1/2 teaspoon of chia seeds, and a 1/2 cup of my almond milk, which I just realized is not in this picture. For me, I'll be using a 1/3 cup of old-fashioned oats, a 1/2 cup of that unsweetened vanilla almond milk, 1 teaspoon of that brown sugar replacement, 2 tablespoons of PB2, 1 tablespoon of that Maple Farm sugar-free syrup. I think that is a wonderful brand. You see it back there in the back. It's this one. It's really great. And a 1/2 tablespoon of chia seeds, and then 1 teaspoon of those mini chocolate chips. And those ingredients are for 1 of these, so I'll be making 2 for James and 2 for me for the week. My first step, the ones on the left are the peanut butter ones, so I've got 1/3 of a cup of overnight of the oats in there, plus 2 tablespoons of the PB2, and then a pinch of salt. That's in both of mine. And in James, I have a half a cup of the oats, and then I have 1 tablespoon of the sugar-free, fat-free vanilla pudding, and I've also have 1 tablespoon of this vanilla grass-fed whey, and I have just a pinch of salt in both of these. So that's my first step. I'm going to mix those together, then I'll go on to step 2. Next step's all finished. I just added the sweeteners to them. So to mine, I did 1 teaspoon of that brown sugar sweetener, and I also added 1 tablespoon of that sugar-free maple syrup, and then 1.5 teaspoons of the chia seeds. Now I'll give those a mix, and then the only thing left to add will be the almond milk. And then to James, he doesn't need that sugar-free sweetener. I think the Jello mix has enough sweetener in it, but I do put a teaspoon of the brown sugar blend in it, and again, the chia seeds, 1.5 teaspoon is what I added today because I'm running low. I typically add 1.5 tablespoons though. So just finished up by adding a half a cup of almond milk to all of them, stirring up, and then topped mine with 1 teaspoon of the mini chocolate chips. I'm really bummed because I recalculated this version in my points calculator, and this brown sugar blend of Truvia brown sugar calculates for 1 point for 1 teaspoon. And if I would have just used a half a teaspoon, or not at all, it would have been 0. So mine ended up being 7 points on green, which is a little bit more than I like for overnight oats, but that's okay. And I'm sure James are probably still ringing in at 6 points because of the ingredients that I put on his. Unfortunately, when I weighed in yesterday morning and then this morning too, I'm up a pound, 1.6 I'm up, which is what I lost last week. I tell you what, and I had 6 blue dots this week for the first time ever, but then I gained. But that's how my body works. And I know stress makes you really do things differently too. Even though I was tracking everything, you hold on to stress, and I know that too. I didn't sleep probably the greatest, and probably didn't have enough water. I mean, that has a lot to do with it too. I'll weigh again tomorrow, and I'll give you an update if I end up losing this week. But yeah, it is what it is. But let me get into what I accomplished last weekend, and then from the meal plan that I had made. So I made a meatball sub bubble up last weekend, and had to make those meatballs ahead of time, and then James really wanted that, so I went ahead and made that Sunday, and he said it was a winner. I thought the meatballs were a little dry in the bubble up, but he'll want me to make it again, and I will. I'll just tweak the meatballs a little bit probably for it. I made the air fryer Monterey chicken this past week, and I actually filmed a video of that, and I uploaded that to YouTube, and I actually published it today. So you should be able to find that on my YouTube channel already. And that is one of those recipes that's so quick and easy. That's what I really love about that one. It's just fast. Like, in the time that it took me to videotape it and edit it took me a little bit longer, but actually, like, you can make that recipe and have that on the table in 15 minutes. And it's really great. I also made the cheeseburger patties ahead of time last weekend, and then I ended up doing it on my indoor griddle because it was too windy to go outside and grill, and James was in the tax office. So I just threw those on my griddle and did those, and they were great. And actually I froze, I think I made 8 patties out of the pound of lean ground beef I had, and I made 2 for us that evening, and then I froze the other 6 patties. So they're in the freezer right now, ready to go for next week if I want to have some more of those. We cleaned up those scalloped potatoes finally. So that was a good thing. We had those with that air fryer Monterey chicken. It was great. Again, I know I probably put some more clips in if I haven't already put those in right now of the air fryer Monterey chicken, and so you can kind of see the pictures of what those look like, as well as the meatball sub. Buckle up. So I'll show a few pictures.
In recent weeks, 3 other women have accused Cuomo of unwanted advances. He said he never.
The other thing, I had already made my overnight oats for breakfast, and then last night, last night was one of those nights I came home and I was just, you know what, I wanted to go by Sonic and get a big old cheeseburger and malt, and I was just feeling crappy, It's just been a hell of a week, and just feeling sorry for myself. But when I came home last night, I knew I had stuff already in the refrigerator made, but it just didn't sound good. Didn't want it. I had thought about making those flatbread pepperoni pizzas. I've got all the stuff. I knew that'd be fast, but I didn't want it. And then one of my teachers yesterday she had seen my biscuits and gravy bake, and yesterday at school she talked to me about it. And so when I got home last night and I was feeling sorry for myself and I was just wanting something warm and comforting, and like I said, I really wanted to go to Sonic. But I thought, no, Jenny, don't do that. You're gonna feel like you're defeated. There's one thing that went well this week, and that's what I put in my mouth, and that's what I planned for. So I had all those things to make that biscuit and gravy bake, so I made one last night. I made it. It was great, warm, filling, delicious. Stayed in with my points, got a blue dot again, so I felt really great about that. I wish the scale would have showed that this morning what I weighed, but it didn't, and that's okay. Do you see how I keep repeating that's okay? Well, it is okay. These things happen, but anyway, so did that. And I worked today to get ready my meal plan for next week. So next week, I have way over planned. I have enough food here for 2 weeks. I have enough food dinners for 2 weeks. And I actually made my Instacart order of my groceries just a couple hours ago. My groceries were delivered for this meal plan about 30 minutes ago, and I've already unpacked and put them all away. So yippee, I'm ahead, and the weekend hasn't even started. So I have my meal plan ready for next week and probably the following week too. And I already have my groceries bought and put away for that as well. So and it's not the weekend yet. So I am super excited that I'm gonna have a weekend that I don't have to get my meal plan together and my groceries and everything. I'm done there. So here's what I'm having. For breakfast and lunch at school next week, I'll take, and James will too, some of that biscuit and gravy bake. I think we'll still have 1 or 2 servings left by Monday or Tuesday, I think. If not, I have stuff I can make that again actually for next week. And then I've got some more of my English muffins that were the 100% or the 100 calorie ones. So I'll do some bacon and English muffins with either a slice of that Velveeta slice again, or the Laughing Cow cheese, the Swiss Laughing Cow cheese is really good, smeared on one of those English muffins and then put the bacon on. James seemed to really like taking one of those every day this week for work. So I might make some up ahead of time, or he might make his up in the morning. And then I've got stuff to make overnight oats again. I was out after the last week, so I've restocked there. So I've got overnight oats too. So all of those things are breakfast items, but I really like those kind of breakfast items for my breakfast/lunch at work. James, he'll take them for breakfast, but then he'll take leftovers that we've had through the week for his lunch or dinner if he needs to take both for the office. Other things I have, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna make again for like the 4th or 5th time the enchilada pasta skillet. It's just one of our favorites. And I'll either make that Saturday or Sunday, I don't know, but then we'll be able to eat on that for a few days. Love that recipe. It goes too quick because James likes it so much. Then we went to Costco last weekend, and I picked up some of the things that I really like. They have a great tilapia, frozen tilapia. In fact, I'm going to pause the video here and go get it. When you know it, I don't even know the points, but this tilapia, tortilla crusted tilapia, I get it from Costco, and it is just fabulous. Before, when I made it, I didn't have an air fryer, so I can't even imagine how great it's going to be in the air fryer. When I used to do Weight Watchers in the past, I know it was really point friendly, and so I'm sure it still is now. Some other things we got at Costco were the Amy Lou chicken sausages, and I'm not gonna pull those out of the freezer, but they're great too. We got those, and so I wrote those down on here too. Again, I've got enough hamburgers frozen to have hamburgers and French fries again, and the French fries in the air fryer are wonderful. You know, you could have, I think I had 3 ounces of French fries for, I don't know if it was like 5-6 points, something like that, but it went great with my cheeseburgers basically. So that's on the plan again. Of course, my pork chops and peas are on the menu for this week, as well as James spaghetti in the Instapot. He wants me to make that again. And then I've got a new recipe written down here that I'm going to try. It's a loaded up chicken bake. So again, it's made with those biscuits that you, like I've used in a lot of the bubble up recipes, and I use them in my biscuit and gravy recipe, but it does something similar with but it's also has a rotisserie chicken or baked or cooked chicken chunked up in it, and then like a cream of chicken soup kind of thing. So I'm interested to try it and see how we like it. That's really the only new recipe that I have planned for the next week or so. As you can see, I've listed a lot. I'll throw in a picture, probably a close-up of this so you can see it, but way over planned, but that's okay, because what I don't make this week, it can go into next week, and then I've really got a meal planned for a couple weeks. I'll just revise it. So that's enough of me rambling for now. I do feel like I had a successful 7 days since I made my last video. I mean, I did what I said I was going to do. I did my meal planning. I stuck to eating my meal plan. I did all my exercises. I kept myself going even though it was hard. So I know we all have weeks like that. So I'll get through. I know next week will be better. I know my mom will adjust. I know she will. I know the teachers will adjust. I know I'll adjust. It's all about changes. We don't like a lot of changes. We start getting in a routine of something, and then a lot of times that's beyond our control, is that we have to change our routine. So I'm going to keep up with the routines that I can control, and that's my meal planning and my exercise and working on this health journey. So until next time, goodbye.